All right. This is the maybe the controversial part of the show.
Is it controversial? What is controversy? I thought that was a Prince album. Listen, y'all.
Controversy.
We want to get into the band bag.
Banned bag. You can't bring that bag in here. It's banned.
You know, not like the band bag, like
But NNED.
Yeah. Check it out, y'all. United States Marine Corps.
Shouts to all the Marines, all the people in the armed services, all the branches of the armed services, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, National Guard,
Pop the collar for remembering
Air
the Coast
Force,
Guard. Pop the collar. National
Air
Guard.
Force,
Listen, y'all. Check it.
Army,
check it.
Navy.
Check the math. United States Marine Corps, in the midst of everything that's happening, you know what's happening. Protests here, protests there. People get strangled to death on the streets. People fight for what's right, mobilize. United States Marine Corps, unlike some other organizations, may have gotten the message this time around in a way that is super duper exemplary. They are banning the Confederate flag.
They doing what?
Banning the Confederate flag.
They doing what?
Banning the Confederate flag.
Can I get an oop on that? I want to dunk that.
Whoa. Banning the Confederate flag. Yo, you know something? For those of you who don't know, once upon a time, there was a war in the United States between two sides, one called the Union, one called the Confederacy, and the Confederacy's economy, the backbone of the Confederate States economy was these enslaved individuals who were working for free.
Facts.
And
were born into slavery and died in slavery.
And I know a lot of y'all, or were brought across the sea, right? Yeah,
right.
No, that was probably, they didn't even have the Confederate States when they was bringing them over.
No.
You know, we got to look at the dates to see when they stopped bringing the boats over, right? But by the time that them boats stopped coming, the Confederate States were there, and the people who were brought over on the boats were then raped, usually, right? And then
separated
their kids,
from each other.
Yeah, their kids, the kids that they had with the people who kidnapped them and brought them over, were then kept in the system, right? And yada, yada. It was a big mess, a big clusterfuck. But this is how the Confederate States made their money. They were making their money off of agriculture. Tobacco was the big thing back then. Mm-hmm. And that's how it was. You know, you would have your plantation.
Cotton.
Yeah, no, cotton actually wasn't profitable until the cotton gin came in. And the cotton gin showed up only a few years before slavery was banned. So that's one that people don't even know about. That's part of why they had to set up the prison industrial complex post-Reconstruction, because cotton became profitable so late in the game.
Right.
So that's part of why the southern states didn't want to let go of the infrastructure that they had set up. That's the whole thing, y'all. Tell us what you think about that one. Look up when the cotton gin came out. Cotton was not a profitable crop for a long time. So check it out. Here's the thing. Confederate flag. The Confederate flag is banned. In Germany, right? If you got a Nazi flag someplace out in public,
yeah,
you can do what you want to do probably in the privacy of your own home. But you go around Germany, Nazi flags, Nazi memorabilia, it's not there.
You don't see it.
You don't see it. People don't ride around with it on their hats.
Nah.
They don't ride around with
on
it
their trucks,
on their cars, on their shirts.
Nah.
Little stickers on their guitars.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. Why are we bringing up the Nazi flag? Because for a lot of people, and my man right here is from North Carolina.
And Virginia.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
I'm from both. No, I carry both of those flags deep in my heart. North Carolina and Virginia. I was born right on the line.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. You know all of the craziest hustlers come from that area. We're not even going to get into that. Maybe that's for the next bag. Frank Matthews. Frank.
Clarence the 13th. Clarence the 13th.
Woo. Okay, anyway. So my man he's from that soil. I'm not from that soil. I'm from Detroit.
I'm from the red dirt.
For me, that Confederate flag is a little bit, removed or whatever. Even though I come from the most segregated area of the nation, we have that real sophisticated apartheid up in Detroit. But the Confederate flag, the United States Marine Corps is saying, if you're on a base, if you're a Marine, if you're associated with us in any way at all, we will not tolerate the Confederate flag, because we're standing up against what the Confederacy stood for, and that's huge. All right.
Yeah.
The chances are that all of the rest of the armed forces will probably say, we can't let the Marines show us up, and then they'll ban the Confederate flag across the whole Department of Defense, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe some of these people out here who are civilians or who are retired veterans or whatever will help us start to eradicate that, because, again, for all of these mini black communities that are often lumped into as the black community. Right. You know, when you see a Confederate flag, you're going to feel some sort of way because you know that the Confederacy was about keeping people who looked like you in shackles, working all day for free, somebody laying up on you, you know what I'm saying?
Taking advantage of it.
Yeah, getting taken advantage of in all the worst ways.
How much of a step is this in the right direction?
How much of a step is this in the right direction? Hey, Black, what you think?
Some might argue, some people that look like me from the Afro-European community might argue that it's not enough, right? It's not enough. You know, it's just pacification. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not from that cloth. I believe every step forward is progress.
All right.
You know, and I'm all about progress, whether it be a small step or whether it be a big step. And so as a person who would see that flag and feel disrespected by it and feel that it represented hatred and that it represented segregation and that it represented the annihilation of a certain community or a certain groups of people from the continent of Africa, I embrace the idea of government entities no longer supporting this. I get it. Private, where we are from the States, right? We believe in personal freedoms to an extent, right?
Speak on it.
At least that's what we put on paper.
All right.
That we believe in personal freedoms, right?
I feel you heating up.
So if people want to wear it on their shirt, you know, rock it on their truck, whatever. Like, you have that right. I'm not going to try to step on your rights to believe.
Yeah,
and
just
heritage.
like walking through the streets with a Nazi shirt on. You can do that.
Yeah,
you can have a swastika. You can have a swastika.
You can wear a swastika on your shirt.
You can have a National Socialist bomber jacket.
You could be a member.
You just got to deal with what comes after the fact.
Right. You could be a member of Ku Klux Klan. You could wear a cape. I don't got no problem. You can wear a hood. I have no problem with your right to do that.
Shout out to the South.
When there are government entities
like the states of Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi, whose flags still feature Confederate motifs.
Right.
Yeah.
When there are government entities that support this. Now, this is where I draw the line because I feel like it is our job as the citizens of a country.
I like how you define that our.
It is our job as the citizens of a country to say that is not cool. Like, a government shouldn't represent anything associated with bigotry and hatred. How do you feel?
I appreciate you voicing your opinion so passionately and so, and just taking the filters off for a second. And also feel like this, man. The whole Confederate thing, when I was a child, I was always taught a couple of things that tie into what we're saying right now. They always taught me, if you was on one of these plantations and you was somebody's so-called property, they was going to make sure you couldn't read.
Yeah.
Because the more literate that you are, that's the further that you are away from captivity.
Right.
Right? And so being able to read is not just about being able to read books, but it's about being able to read comprehensively things like flags and what they mean and what it is that they represent. Your flag is your identity statement, right? And so when your identity statement is that these are the economics that I represent. I represent the economics, Mississippi, Arkansas, which my father was born in the state of Arkansas. I got, my grandmother was born in the state of Arkansas. I have big time clan from the state of Arkansas, right? My sister, nephew, all types of people. So when you talk about a state flag that has a motif in there that says, yeah, we're proud of the heritage of
the Confederacy,
of the Confederacy, which economically built its wealth off of, this group of people right here, we work them all day. We don't pay them anything. We get the profits of whatever it is that they make to these people over here under, just that type of greed and that type of, I don't get behind that. I'm the type of person to stand up and to say, you proud of that part of your heritage?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like that. I'm like, talk to me about that.
So
you proud of that?
and so it asks me,
what is there to be proud of then?
When this topic came up, it begged me. I had the question of, what do you think about the heritage versus hatred, conversation, the heritage, not hatred conversation. And again, privately, I in the most offensive way possible, I think it's bullshit. I think it's pure bullshit because if what if we were to? What if some group of people from the States were to say, you know, that they were proud of the Japanese internment camps? You know, we're proud of this.
Yeah,
this
I
is
feel
our
like
heritage.
people are gonna say that's bullshit.
That's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
That people would say that was bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And how is it any different than what's happening right now? I mean, what's happening with the Confederate flag? I mean, I don't get it. I feel you about. I had ancestors that fought for the Confederacy. I'm not proud of that shit.
I probably did also.
I'm not proud of that. I had a great grandfather who fought for the Union. I had a great grandfather on the other side that fought for the Confederacy.
I'm sure I have some relatives
I'm
who.
not proud of either.
I'm sure I got some relatives who were rats.
I'm not proud of that.
Hey, I'm sure I got some relatives who are snitches.
Are you proud of that?
I'm not proud of that.
Are you proud of like
no.
the legacy of like bigotry and hatred? How could you be proud of that? Like,
You-
how
you
is
know
that
what?
something that you embrace?
I'm
Like,
gonna tell you how I feel about it. I feel like bigotry and hatred is what happens on the surface, but underneath it is greed.
right.
The bigotry and the hatred are mobilized by greed because racism is neocolonialism. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
And that's all I like
Pass
to
the
say
bag.
about to say about that. The bag has been passed. Let us know what you think about the Confederate flag. Should it be banned in all government entities? Let us know.
Should it be
Pass
banned
the
in
ba-
all public spaces,
All
like how
public
they do in the
spaces.
German Republic?
Pass the bag podcast at gmail.com. Pass the bag podcast on IG. Pass the bag podcast on Twitter. Holler at us. Let us know what you think. Or please join our WeChat group.
Yeah, get
And
at us. We'll get with you.
And join the conversation.
That's how we do.
Be a part of the team. Let's get into the next bag.